Hey, everyone out there. Thank you so much for tuning into another Addicted Fishing podcast. And I always like to start these things out with, man, it's been a while since we've been in here. Right, Jason?
Because it has.
It seems like we always go through these lapses. And it's not because we hate you guys and we don't want you to listen to our podcast. It's just because we do live fishing. And we record these here Wednesday, guys, during our live feed every single Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. But what we do is we come in a little bit early and we try to knock out a podcast for you guys. So, guys, before we get too crazy into this podcast and we introduce our guest and everything, I have to let you guys know that June 29th, this Sunday, guys, June 29th is our summer merch drop. The Addicted Summer merch drop's coming. We have all sorts of stuff in the drop, a bunch of new sick apparel, some really cool UPFs for the sun this summer, guys, some cool new hoodies, some board shorts, lots of new apparel. But there's also lots of new lures, guys, some really sick concepts, some cool things that your guys are going to see coming out that have never been done in the fishing industry before, some things that I took a couple different industries and molded them together into one. And so I hope you guys are going to be as excited about it as I am. If you want to see what that is, come to the website, June 29th, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and shop the merch because we appreciate you, and that's how we continue to keep making this content, you know. I got to pay Clint a couple dollars every month, and I can't do that if you guys don't buy any merch. So we appreciate you for supporting us. And now let's get into the real podcast here. We're here today, and we're excited because we have a guest with us. So we are going to introduce him right now. Why don't you introduce yourself, buddy?
This is Bob Loomis from Mack's Lure.
Awesome. So, guys, Mack's Lure. A ton of you guys have obviously heard of Mack's Lure. They make some of the most iconic lures, not just in the Pacific Northwest, but frankly, the world. I mean, you have the wedding ring and you have the smile blade. And I know I'm going to miss other ones, but we're going to have Bobby talk about which ones those are. And I'm excited, guys. I feel like me and Bobby have been talking for at least a year, maybe a little bit more. We've kind of like crossed paths and talked about how we could potentially work together or if it made sense to, you know, do a partnership with Addicted. And it finally just all the stars aligned and now we're going to be working together. And for me, it's like, as you guys have seen with Addicted over the years, one of the things that is really important to me, and some people can't see it because they're not around me enough or they're not around Addicted enough, but even Jason or someone like Clint who's been around from the beginning, like me and Cameron are so adamant at not signing on sponsors or partnerships unless it's true product that we believe in, that we already use, that we're already fishing with. And it's funny, Bobby, because I have an awesome story to tell you. You may or may not have already seen this, but probably not because you're not a big YouTube guy and you're probably not watching every one of our videos. But we literally signed the partnership with you. And then a couple days later, me and Jason just happened to be out filming a tutorial about coon shrimp fishing, basically fishing coon shrimp for steelhead. And we're filming the tutorial and Jason pulls out a pips box. And he literally gives this literal infomercial on the pips box. And I didn't ask him to do it. He just pulled it out. He didn't even know we were signing with Max. It was that organic and that real of this is the pips box. It's the most badass thing ever. And if you don't have them, you're sleeping under a rock. That's how cool the testimonial was. So for me, it just validated that all the addicts out there that watch us and see the sponsors that we have and the people that we support, just know, guys, we're not bringing anyone on if it's not products we believe in and products that we actually use.
There's a reason they're partners.
Exactly.
Well,
so,
and you know what? That's the way it should be. I mean, if you believe in it and it's something that you use, then it works. If it doesn't fit, it shouldn't be. I mean, that's. This industry is a very different industry at times.
It is.
A lot of people jump in with all 4 feet and try to, they either have their hand out for something for free or they are trying to make as much money as they can in a short period of time. And most of those individuals are, go by the wayside.
Yeah, so, they're fly by night. They're not here forever. And I've seen a lot of, I don't want to talk trash, but I see a lot of other people that are kind of doing similar stuff that we do. And over the years, I've just been I swear 2 years ago, that guy was telling me that he hated those lures and he would never fish them and they were the most garbage thing ever. And now all of a sudden he's telling me that they're the best thing since sliced bread. So I'm a little confused at what to believe here. So, and one thing you're never going to find, you will not find that from us. literally
No.
ever. In 16 years of us making content, we just won't do it. We don't do it. So
No, and that's something that we don't do as a sponsor. Working collaboratively on anything is, if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit, and that's fine. It's not bad.
no,
But
no.
if it does work, then guess what? There's a lot of things that you can do and help enhance, everybody.
Exactly.
So that's the name of the game. That's what we're here for.
For sure, 100%. And again, guys, when we do partnerships, and Bobby, we won't go into details, but like Bobby knows, like we had 3 calls and 4 calls, and we asked a lot of questions, and he asked us a lot of questions, and like it's not like he comes to us and says, "Hey guys, we're going to pay you this amount of money. You guys want to work with us?" Like it's just not how it works. It's very much so a partnership, and so I just wanted to tell some of the addicts out there that so they understand that when we sign on people like you. We're excited to do it, and we want to do it because we believe in it. So we're happy to have you guys on board and stoked to just make some more content. A lot of the addicts, like I said, have already seen a lot of the Max Lures products in videos over the years. So we already use a lot of the stuff, and some of the stuff that we don't use, I'm excited because we'll be able to get more familiar with it. And, guys, we have some cool stuff planned. Me and Bobby have already been talking about how we could potentially, work with some other pro staffers in other states and just do some other stuff for you addicts out there to just show you more of the ways that Max Lures could potentially be implemented here in the Northwest. And one of the cool things too, Bobby, and maybe you can expand on this a little bit, but you guys you have so many lures. Like when I got on the website, I was kind of like, wait, I didn't know they made that. And they make this? What is this thing that they make? And so I was like, so talk a couple, like maybe tell me give me 2 lures that you guys make that people in the Northwest don't seem to be too privy to yet. That'd be kind of a fun little game. Like what's a cool lure that you make that is like a killer lure, but for some reason it hasn't taken hold in the Northwest because people just don't know about it, but maybe guys in the Great Lakes are using it like crazy, or in Utah or whatever, Do you have a couple examples like that?
Well, here's the thing, Marlon, as you said, we've got a lot of product. We've been around for, 56 years. And you obviously continually grow and add to your arsenal when things come up, whether it's a pro staffer coming to you, hey, we got to do something like this. So we are predominantly a trout, kokanee, walleye, trolling product. That's what the base of our business is. From that, you get into peripheral stuff. You get into some salmon stuff. We've got patented flashers, the scent flash flashers that are patented that you can fill up with scent and work fantastic for the salmon fisheries. We've got just a myriad of different things.
I'm going to talk about, I want to bring up one thing, Bobby, that is something that's kind of been gatekeeped a little bit here in the Northwest. And there's going to be some people that are probably pissed off at me that I'm even talking about it or bringing it up. Sorry, Charles, I love you, dude, but I'm going to talk about it anyway.
But here it comes.
There's these wings things that you guys make, these big wings. Remind me what the name of them are, Bobby.
The flashlight blade.
The flashlight blade.
Yeah.
You guys in the Pacific Northwest, if you are not using the flashlight blade, you better get some in your tackle box, because I know a lot of really, really good salmon and steelhead fishermen that have been using those in the Northwest for years now, and they're very gate kept, like very secretive. People don't talk about them.
It's a little hush hush.
I remember when you guys, because they come on like a wire or something, don't they? Or like a...
Yeah, we make the flashlight it's a mylar blade like the smile blade, but it's a longer blade. It's 2 7/8 up to 3 inch or 3 1/4 inch. We've got it's a longer, narrower blade, but it is offset like the smile blade, made out of mylar, ultralight. So we make gang trolls out of them. They're like a cowbell. Cowbell.
Exactly. They're like a gang troll. Yeah. So, but you can't buy them separate, right? Like by themselves?
No, we do sell them separately also.
Okay. because I know when I was getting on the website, I was trying to see if you could find them separately. But I know for years, and I know what a lot of people do, like, because at one point Charles was telling me he drove around and bought a bunch of them to cut them apart. Like he was basically buying your game trolls, chopping them apart, and then just taking the wings off of them to implement them into certain fisheries. So I'm not going to talk about the fisheries that guys use them for, but guys, use your imagination. Just look at those things. They're called the flashlight. Find them online. Find them wherever you can find them. You know, I'm sure they're carried in a lot of retailers that support Macks. And just start to think at different fisheries you can implement them in. And I promise you it's going to change some different fisheries for you because they do work extremely well. So.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then talk about the wedding ring. Like, I'm going to be honest. I didn't even know that you guys made that. Like, I don't know how I didn't know that, but I think the wedding ring has become so synonymous with like its own brand. It feels like the wedding ring is like its own thing. Like, I just thought it was like the wedding ring, like made by Wedding Ring. Like, I didn't realize it was a Max thing. And so that was cool to see. When did that thing come out? It had to have been years ago, right?
Well, it was in 1969. The original owner of Mack's Lure, which was Vern McPherson, lived in Riggins, Idaho, and he and a buddy made this what we call a wedding ring today. And it was originally designed. They were fishing little creeks and streams for trout, and that is originally where the wedding ring started. And Vern started getting so many orders for them that pretty soon he started manufacturing them out of his home. He then, after about, I want to say 6 or 7 years, he and his family ended up moving to Leavenworth, of all places, and they manufactured the wedding ring out of a shop up in Leavenworth for 40 years. So.
Cool.
I mean, it's been around a long time, and the neat thing about it is beaded spinners, which people overlook today. Beaded spinners are extremely relevant in any fishery that exists.
Slept on for sure.
It's so funny that you say that, Bob, because we do a lot of limited drops, and that's something that you're going to see too, addicts, in the future. We've already been talking to Max and Bobby about the potential of maybe launching like custom addicted smile blades and some stuff like that. So you may see some stuff like that in the future. Jason's eyes just got all big. Dude. But I was just talking to Dominic from North Fork Lures, he's a small lure manufacturer here. And he was literally just telling me that. He was like, Marlon, beaded trout spinners are so overlooked. Like when you cast a beaded trout spinner, I mean, it just dominates. Like a lot of the ones we've been making, I don't know if it's because when that trout's following it, he almost like he has to see that bead and think it's like an egg or something. I have no idea.
Well, most of them are high UV. When you start talking about the oranges, pinks, chartreuses, greens, most of them are high UV. And, when you start looking at, look at a Panther Martin, everything's painted. And it's a ringer on the center of the body. The body with that fluorescent is picking up more UV and putting off a different color than what most metal spinners exist. So you're getting an extreme attraction from not only the spinner blade itself, whether it's a metal blade or a smile blade, but you're also getting a major attraction with the beads.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Yeah, they definitely something that people need to think about as they, because you're right, it's a forgotten thing. I feel like I really do. You look at the old, like, what was it, the Bud spinner maybe that had beads on it. There was an old steelhead spinner that was in every single store. I can't remember if it was the Bud spinner or what, but it had beads on it. And I remember back in the day using that thing and crushing on them. And now it's like no one uses them. Everyone uses a Blue Fox or like an R&B or a, a salmon and steelhead casting spinner with a bead is kind of a forgotten thing, I feel like.
Yeah, it is. So. It is.
Well, cool. So couple other things here, Bobby. Like, for one, how long have you been at Max? Like maybe give us a little bit of a history of kind of what you do for Max and how long you've been there and stuff.
Well, I've been in the recreational fishing industry now for 43 years. I started at Loomis. I was the first employee there. And I quit college. I couldn't wrestle anymore, and ended up starting G. Loomis with my uncle. And we, you saw what we built, back up into the 2000s. And at that point, I ended up leaving and going and doing some of my own stuff. I went with Rogue Rods for a little bit, started the Rogue Rod program, and then ended up moving back to my roots. I grew up over here in Eastern Washington in Lake Chelan. So I ended up moving back over here and manufacturing fishing rod blanks and golf shafts for about 5 or 6 years, and then ended up at Mack's Lure. It looked like they needed some help with some of the things that were going on there, and it was a great fit for me because of the fact that I didn't have to leave the area. I could stay in the area where I wanted to be, and so it worked out well for both of us.
Awesome.
So I ended up going to work there 16 years ago.
Nice.
And the rest is history. You've been there, man, 16 years. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay, so a couple other quick things before we kind of let you go on your way here, Bobby. Are you going to give the addicts any deals? Like, did you come to the podcast with any little like special, like maybe discount codes for the website, or am I putting you on the spot here?
No. You guys. We've got one that'll run for a couple weeks for the podcast here. For I think it was ADX 15 or something like that. I can't speak to it 100%. Jen knows what it is.
Yep, you're right. Jen sent us the email at 5 p.m. So I got it pulled up right now. Shout out to Jen. Thank you for keeping us on top of shit. So guys, use the code ADX15. So the letter A, the letter D, the letter X 15, and you just go to maxlures.com. And addicts, let's show the Max Lures guys, and let's show these dudes how powerful this addicted fan base is, guys. I know you guys are already buying Max Lures. I know you're already buying Smile Blades. I know you're already buying wedding rings, and I know a bunch of walleye fishermen and stuff out there that listen to us. So get on Max Lures, go use the code ADX15, and let's blow these guys out of the water and show them what we can do. And one thing I'm going to say is, if you can find those flashlights, let's just sell them out. Let's just sell them out on their website, guys, so they don't have any more.
And if you don't have the Max leader boxes, the Pips box, you are seriously sleeping under a rock, dude. I literally run my whole leader program off of those Pip boxes. I have 17 of them. I counted them the other day.
What's funny too is, Bobby, you told me about those things and I didn't even really know much about them. And then when Jason pulled it out and showed me when we were filming the tutorial, which, guys, if you want to see kind of a demonstration of the Pips box, or you want to learn more about coon shrimp for steelhead, me and Jason filmed a tutorial a couple weeks ago that's on the website that is titled "The Best Way to Catch Summer Steelhead." So get on over on the YouTube channel and you can find it and see the Pips box. But yeah, Jason pulled that thing out and I was blown away. Like, he had so many leaders stacked into that thing. How many can you fit in there, Jason?
Oh, in the big ones, I can usually fit. So with my 4-aught hooks, I can fit about 75 in them.
Jeez.
And that's basically that's basically my whole tributary Springer season. If I have to go through more than 75 liters, I'm definitely fishing too deep.
That's crazy, man. I didn't realize you could do that. And then just the way it organizes it and pulls out of there,
it's
super
so
simplistic
nice.
And
it's very, very functional.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. You know what's funny about the whole thing is obviously you guys are a tad younger. I knew the gentleman who designed it originally, Old Man Pip, up on the Cowlitz.
Oh,
and
nice.
I've got some of the original stuff that I went out and looked, and I think I've got like 7 or 8 of them.
Like with the cork,
a couple.
With the cork,
absolutely, yeah. These are original. And then when I went to work at Mack. Mack had purchased it from the gentleman, and I thought, oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
I've got a whole new inventory now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I collect. I have a lot of. I'd love to maybe get one of those from you someday if you want to part with one of them, because I collect. I have so much old vintage fishing tackle, and I specifically like to collect a lot of the stuff that has kind of shaped the Pacific Northwest. And so I have, dude, I have some stuff that would just blow people away. I mean, I got stuff from, because I've been pretty blessed and interconnected in the fishing industry for 15, 16 years now, not near as long as you. I mean, I've probably been in it in 20, but really 15, like going hard at it. And just over the years of meeting people, it's like one day I'm in the Brad's warehouse and he's like, hey, have you ever seen one of these? And he pulls out literally one of the very first original super baits in like the original packaging that Brad's ever did and gives me one of them. And then I'm hanging out with Jared from Yakima one time on his boat. And, he has this giant box of all these mag lips, and he's got like 4 or 5 of like some of the very first mag lips that ever came off the line. And so it's just, I like to collect that stuff because I think it's cool. Like I've even hit up Buzz a couple times because Buzz has some crazy stuff that I would love to get from him someday if you somehow get it. But so, I'm sure you do too. I'm sure you probably have some crazy stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, I'll have to introduce you to Herb one of these days. Herb Good.
Okay, I was gonna say Herb must be Herb Good. I've heard that name a lot.
Oh yeah. We'll go down in his basement and you can find all sorts of stuff.
It would be fun to do that too. Like one of the things, Bobby, that's interesting about the Northwest industry is like stuff dies and gets forgotten, and then all of a sudden just goes by the wayside, and then no one ever uses it, and then it just goes bye-bye. And I feel like there's some lures over the years that were like dynamite in the Pacific Northwest that just, for some reason, like they were either marketed wrong or whatever, and then they just kind of went by the wayside and people forgot about them, And so it's cool to go into old guys or people's garages like that and then find stuff like that. Because to me, it creates innovation in my head. It makes me think, oh man, what if we took that and like did this and then. So it's cool to see stuff like that people have been creating.
That's one thing that people overlook, Marlon, is people don't really pay attention. It's okay. Today, this maglip was like the shit. It was the absolute lure. If you didn't have it, you didn't catch fish. And next year, it's not as pretty as this new XYZ lure. And everybody goes to the XYZ lure, and that's what happens. And pretty soon, like 4 or 5 years down the road, that maglip goes by the wayside. And nobody knows anything about it. Doesn't, you know what? It still works.
Exactly. It definitely still works.
It still works really well. It wasn't as pretty as the new glitzy XYZ lure that came out the next year. And people don't think about those things because guess what? Those things, they worked really well at one time and did really well. And you know what? They'll do it again.
They're probably going to work again. Yeah.
For sure. For sure. Well, Bobby, before we let you kind of jump off here, we got to get on the Addicted Live feed here in about 15 minutes. We want to give you a couple minutes to take a little break and jump back on here at 6:30. Is there any other things you want to tell the podcast listeners or anything you want to say on behalf of Max or yourself?
No, we are, extremely excited about teaming up with you guys and working with the Addicted group. You guys are doing a fantastic job. I'm really pleased with what's going on out there. You get into that. I don't want to say get into a rut, but older individuals like myself that have been around a long time have a tendency of not paying attention to what is relevant at the given time. Trying to, I don't want to say trying to stay with what they have, but you overlook some of the obvious. And some of the obvious is you guys are bringing a large new group of individuals into this industry, which is what is needed. And I'm very, very pleased to be involved with you.
Thanks. I appreciate that, Bobby. That means a lot. And, that's, regardless of some of the, grumblings and hate and shit that we hear kind of in the background from that small 1% of people, the reality is what anglers don't realize. And I was literally talking about this today on the beach because I just found out, Jason, and I'm going to tell you this after we get off the podcast, but I just found out they're shutting down 3 more hatcheries on one of our favorite rivers, eliminating basically the summer steelhead run, the winter steelhead run, and they're going to eliminate a winter steelhead run on another stream because the hatchery that they're shutting down supplies those fish to that stream. And it's just, you sit there and you see that stuff happening, and what a lot of anglers don't realize, and it's the Pacific Northwest is so known for this just gatekeeping like personality.
Got to keep a secret.
Yeah, it's everything's so secretive and everything, and I get it to an extent, right? But the reality is, guys, is if you look at a chart and you look at the fishing industry, specifically even the Pacific Northwest, it has been on nothing but a downturn for probably 25 years. There was a little bump during COVID in 2020 and 2021 when people just wanted to get outdoors. But the reality is, guys, is like how am I trying to say this? The more and more anglers that we lose and don't have and don't get excited about the fisheries, we lose the fisheries, guys. If we don't have people that care and want to fish for them, we lose them. So if you think you're cool and you got some badass fishery and you and your 5 friends are the only ones that fish there and you want to keep it a secret, good for you, but it will not last.
You probably won't have it here soon.
It won't last, and I've seen it. I have seen it happen so many times. And Bobby, a guy who's been around way longer than us and seen way more than us and innovated way more things than we could ever even dream of, has seen it way more than us. So it's a sad state of affairs that we're in, everyone out there. And just know that, like, whenever someone tells you, like, I hate those guys because they teach people how to fish, or they bring new people into the sport, or they ruin my river because they blew it up, like, just know that that's never been our intention. That's not what we do. We just want to get people excited about fishing so we have fishing in the future. That's it.
And you have to do that. Trust me. Yeah. That's the only way. That's the only way that we can keep this industry going and try to help. You know, I've got a sockeye derby coming up in 2.5 weeks that I put on up here in north central Washington. And you know what? I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to have a sockeye derby. And it's something that we, you know, we as a group, it's unfortunate. Washington, the Pacific Northwest has more individual fishing groups, fishing factions than anywhere else in the United States. And we can't get any 2 of them to get together to help enhance our fisheries.
Nope. And
the only way that we can do it is by getting individuals involved and getting more people to help.
And the hard thing is too, guys, and you know, Bobby, me and you can talk more a little bit offline about some of this stuff because I want to know your opinion, but I think we are in for a rude awakening next year when Washington fishing licenses double and a Discover Pass doubles, because now you have anglers out there that, you know, I hear it all the time, dude, even guys that watch my videos, Bobby, and understand, like, it's like, dude, how have you been watching Addicted for 2 years and I'm looking at your freaking rod and that's what you're fishing? I'm like, seriously, dude, do you not even watch us? Like, you have no shot at catching a fish. Like, I'm looking at your setup, you ain't gonna catch one. Like, and the thing that sucks about that is it's like, dude, guys want to catch fish. And if you don't have fish and have opportunity and have, you know, people that teach people the way to do it, dude, it's gone. I promise you guys, it will be gone. Like, it just will.
That's why the kokanee fishery, you know, for the last 12 years has been the largest growing faction up here in the Pacific Northwest, because people are looking for something different, something that they can actually fish for.
Yeah.
And keep.
And catch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing with the licenses, that before I lost my train of thought, is it's like, you know, you have these guys out there that are trying really hard and not really being super successful. I mean, I get, Jason, I don't know how many you get, but like the Addicted Instagram, like every day I'm getting multiple messages like, how do I do this? How do I do this?
Oh,
I've been trying to catch a steelhead for, you know, 2 years and I haven't even been able to hook one. Or, you know, I hear that all the time. That guy is not buying a fishing license next year. If he goes and he's not going to spend $100 to not catch anything.
Yeah, no.
He doesn't, you know, I'm really worried about it. I'm super sad about it. It sucks. But yeah, I think the industry, yeah, we should talk about it more offline, Bobby. You know, I've tried to do some things to like rally more of the industry together, you know?
Sure.
It's like it's just even hard to do that. You know, it's like you have NSIA, and I feel like NSIA is sitting in that position where they should be able to at least rally us companies together, because that's what they do. And even they haven't really been able to do it effectively. Like, so I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, and none of us probably really know what the answer is, but I do really feel like even if we can't get anglers to unite, Bobby, if the fishing industry itself could unite, like just the companies, right? Like you look at, you know, I don't know what your profits are or my profits, but you know, some of these companies are making hand over fist in this industry. And if we could just rally them together and be like, look, guys, you know, I'm not looking to get into your business, but if your profits were $1 million last year, just give us 100,000 of that or 50,000 of that and let us go to fuck. I'm going to almost drop an F-bomb right there. And let us go to war. Yeah. Like as a team, as a group, as a, you know, as an industry.
And we will get where we want to go.
Yeah, I will tell you that is one of the reasons that I brought CCA up here. Gary and I brought CCA up here for a reason, because of the fact that we finally figured out that you have to become political, and with lobbyists in Olympia, that's the only way that you get anything done. The unfortunate thing is all of the other groups, I can't get any of them to sit down and talk or decide on doing one item that everybody agrees on, because everybody's got their own opinion. Yeah. And it blows my mind.
Well, one of the hard things, Bobby, is I've talked to Trey, you know, Trey Karkskaden.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's now, I think he might even be heading NSIA now. I can't remember, but he, you know, his thing with it and what he's told me there's such a challenge in the Northwest versus what you see in a lot of other areas is it's like, you know, if you have a Louisiana redfish issue, that affects everyone, every single person that fishes there. If you have a lower Columbia River Tule issue, anyone who doesn't fish the lower Columbia River doesn't give a shit. If you have a Rogue River issue, no one cares unless you fish the Rogue River. And so the problem is like you can't get, you know, it's just, it makes it so complicated because every river and every fishery in every region has its own problem. And so
you're absolutely correct. It's like when you and I were talking here a few weeks ago. You know, the epitome of fishing to me is fishing in the morning before work and catching 2 to 10 steelhead and being to work by 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
Exactly. That doesn't exist anymore.
Don't bring that up. That's a sore subject.
You don't want to get me going on that. I mean, but the whole thing boils back to the fact that yes, you are right, but you have, at one point, we have to finally consolidate and start somewhere.
Yeah.
We have, in order to get things done, it's like any problem. When a problem exists, you take a look at the problem, you assess it, you go through it, you figure out what you're going to do, and you do it. You don't sit around and think about it and talk about it like
100%. Yeah.
You do it and then go forward and go to the next problem. It's just a matter of getting people together and wanting everybody to be on board and do the same thing.
100%. And to be perfectly honest, and a lot of addicts, you know, me and Cam have never really spoken out on this. We've kind of, you know, we should have said something on it, you know. But when Hatchery Wild Coexist came around, you know, Cam was leading that a little bit. You know, he was on the board with those guys. Sure. And me and him were like, okay, here we go. Like, this is finally something that addicted, because we've kind of stayed clear of most organizations because the backlash that we get from it. But on this one, we were like, okay, here we go. Like, this is something that no matter who you are, unless you're a dumbass wild fish dude, no matter who you are, you can get behind this because it's more of an initiative and a mindset change and a science change. It's basically, it's basically saying, it's basically saying, hey, we just want the whole entire state and the whole entire region and all of our rivers to be ran under this kind of management, meaning hatcheries are good, brood stocks are good, all this stuff is good. And the problem is that's not how the states are ran right now. Currently, Washington State wants to run more on a environmentalist type of, I mean, if you look at their 15-year plan, Bobby, I mean, we're screwed. Like their 15-year plan basically eliminates everything. And you're gonna have to bleep that cuss word, Clint. I'm sorry, but like it literally starts to eliminate fisheries, hunts in the disguise of like conservation, but it's not conservation. It's environmentalists who don't care about sportsmen. They don't care about the culture and the way that America came up and the way we all came up in the Northwest. They care about going in the woods and being like, look at that beautiful fuzzy bear right there. That thing's so cute. When in reality, it's not cute. It will rip your face off and eat you to shreds. Just like it does every single baby elk that it's killing the entire Blue Mountain herd. You know, that kind of stuff is like, that's where I don't know how to fix it, Bobby. Like, at one point, I'm going to be honest, and a lot of addicts probably are looking at me like, what happened? But, dude, I just gave up, dude. Like, I just felt like no matter what I did on my level, I could never, and I'm sorry if I'm going to offend a couple people here, but I could never reach or change the liberal like way that the states run. And I'm not saying that I'm against liberals or I'm against that type of, you know, belief. But what I'm saying is the way that they think versus the way we think is so different. And it's not how sportsmen and all of us want to live and how really America was built. I mean, we were hunters and fishermen and outdoorsmen and it's like they have just tried to eliminate all that and it freaking sucks.
Yeah.
It you know, this is a huge subject and it's a subject that is very near and dear to my heart because of what has happened, you know, what I grew up with down there in Southwest Washington, you know, 30 years ago, and what you guys have today is not even, it's not even night and day.
Well, and what's crazy, Bobby, is even if I look back 15 years ago, because that's what me and you talked about. You know, it's like I was telling you when me and you were on the phone, we were talking about how Jason, I was telling him how like, it's crazy now that I'm the old guy with the freaking gray beard telling Colt and Hayden who work for me that are in their 20s, like, you guys don't have a clue how the East Fork was. Like, you don't have a clue how the Kalama was. I mean, any of these rivers. Even 15 years ago, Bobby, they were still so good. Like,
you know what? They were, you were right. They were still very, very good. And one thing that I'm going to tell you right now, never give up. Continue to press the subject because of the fact that once we do, we've let them have it.
We lose. Yeah,
absolutely. We basically lose. And I'm going to tell you, I've been doing this. We've been working on issues for 43 years that I've been in this industry. And in turn, we saw it 43 years ago. I used to fish when we didn't have fin clip fish. Okay.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
When they went to that, we basically said, this is going to be a problem. And if you look at it, that is our absolute number one issue that exists today is fin clipping. And that started back in the early 80s. Mm-hmm. And it has created what we have today. And you are right. They are not looking at the science. They are not looking at what actually is true. And you made the statement, and I'm going to reiterate it. Washington State is trying to eliminate hunting and fishing as we know it.
Yep. Yeah,
which is very unfortunate.
It's super sad, man. Well, we'll talk more offline, Bobby, and maybe there is some stuff that we can work together on, or, you know, it's like I've tried to tell people, you know, because people will ask me, and I'm sure you kind of have some of the same, you know, issues. And I've talked to other guys that are running businesses here in the Northwest, and it's just, it's challenging because, you know, you're trying to run a business and you have a family, and then you have, you know, your hobbies, and you have your daughter, and you have all these things that you're doing. And it's like, that takes a lot of time.
For sure.
A lot of time to fight those issues. And, unfortunately, some of these people on the other side of the fence that are fighting against us, they have a lot of time and they have a lot of money and and it sucks. And it just, I mean, we could talk for another hour about this, Bobby, but it's 6:29 now, so we're getting close to hear our live feed. But I just want to say thank you, Bobby, for coming on. I want to say thank you for this partnership. I'm excited. I think the Addicted fans out there are going to be excited. I hope you guys are. Do not forget ADX, the letter A, the letter D, the letter X, 15 on maxlures.com right now. It is going to end on July 9th. So you got some time, guys, but don't wait. Go now. Take advantage of the code before you forget about it. And Bobby, we'll talk to you here in just a couple minutes because now we got to jump on a live feed.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You bet, man. We'll talk to you later.
Cheers.
Take care.
Well, cool. That was really awesome, Jason, to talk to him.
Dude, it's really cool to hear from a guy that's been in the industry for that long and just hear his upcoming in the industry.
It is. And honestly, man, I have a ton of respect for the guy because when, a first couple conversations we had, he straight up told me, he's like, dude, I hated you guys. Like, when you guys came around, he's like, I didn't like you. I didn't like what you were doing. I didn't like what you were teaching. I felt like I had been doing it for way many more years before you had. And, and the thing is like, but then at some point, he like took a step back and he kind of like really looked at what we were doing.
Right.
And I think it changed his perspective. He was like, wait, maybe these guys aren't so bad.
Yeah,
maybe. And I tried to tell him too, Jason, like when I first started, dude, I was young, man, and I did make a lot of mistakes, and I did do a lot of shit that I probably shouldn't have done. I tried to be really tasteful at how I did things. I've had the no river name thing from day one.
Right.
But in the beginning, I was doing some stuff that was like a little freaking off the handle, fly off the wall type of shit. And, I've learned, and I grew up, and, things change, and, but my intention was never to try to, like, ruin fisheries or... It was literally just like I've told you guys a million times. Like, I just came from this background of like not having access to fishing and not having access to know how to do it, but loving it.
Yeah.
Like loving it so much inside that like all I wanted to do was fish. And as I got older, I just thought, you know what? I have like a responsibility to like teach people. Because how many people out there are like me? How many people are growing up in foster care or growing up somewhere where they can't fish? And I just felt like, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I love it and I want to do it.
It's a lot more than anybody could probably imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was. So it was cool to meet, he didn't have to tell me that.
Right.
We could have went on and he could have never told me that and it wouldn't have mattered either way.
Yeah.
So it was cool that he, respected me enough to tell me that and talk about how he moved past it. And I've seen that happen with a lot of people over the years.
I was just going to say it's happening. It's happening to more people than we think.
Yeah, a lot of people. And, the reality is you're never going to please everyone. It's just the reality.
Never.
You're always going to have people that hate what you do and want to hate on you. And I always say, bring it on, bitches.
Yeah.
Because I like the hate. It just fuels me.
It drives me a little bit more.
Oh, it does, dude. The second someone's like, oh, this guy, I'm like, cool. I can't wait to have my shit everywhere, dude. So every fishing store, everything you walk into, you don't get to see nothing but me. Because that's the mindset that it gives me.
We're working on it.
Yeah. It's just like, you got to use it as fuel.
For sure.
Because those people out there, the reality is most of them are just miserable.
Yep.
And they're sad that they didn't do what you did.
Yep.
And that's probably sounded a little arrogant. I didn't mean it like that, but it is, I've heard it even right out of people's mouths that have come to me years later and been like, hey, I was jealous, dude. That's why I hated on you, And so, yeah, cool that he did that. I'm excited that we're going to be working with these guys. You guys are going to see content coming out. Hopefully we'll get Bobby in some videos and you guys can kind of put a face to the name. And, I think as we continue to work with Max over the years, it'll be a long-term partnership and some cool things will happen. So
super stoked.
Yeah, I hope you guys are excited about it. And we got to jump off here, guys. But do not forget, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to everything that we're doing because we're trying to put out as much content as we can so you guys can just consume nothing but fishing content because that's what we all love.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And then, guys, before we end this podcast, the last quick announcement I have to make is Mr. Steel Obsession right here is going to be big boat guiding, guys. He just bought himself an AlumaWeld Columbia. So Jason's going to be fishing this fall. He's probably even going to start as early as, I would say, mid-August, I would guess, when some fish really start showing up. He's going to probably be throwing some dates out there. So if you guys want to get out with Jason in his big boat, he's been fishing with me for literally years in my Aluma. He's been in Cameron's Aluma. He's fishy. He knows how to run a boat. He's going to do just fine. Get out there and go fishing with him. I'm excited to help him grow his business and get into the big boat guiding. But you're still going to do the small stuff too, right?
I'll still do the small stuff. It'll be kind of more specifically requested trips though. But yeah, no, I'm super stoked to get in the big boat. It's nice.
Yeah.
It'll be a good change of pace.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm stoked, guys. So yeah, Steel Obsession Guide Service, guys. Head over to his website, fill out a trip inquiry. Tell him that you're ready to get out with Jason in the big boat. Because what's going to happen, guys, and Cam talks about it all the time with his own business, is, and you guys have probably seen it with Popoff and Big Dave and with Cameron, like, it's not, I don't want this to sound weird, but as these guys get busy and as they keep, getting more and more like in addicted and in the videos, and they become harder and harder to book trips with. So make sure you get in early. When Jason starts really promoting these big boat trips, it's probably going to fill up, and it's not going to fill up probably instantly, guys. So you're going to have a little bit of time, but just don't wait around. Go to his website, get a trip inquiry in. That September fishery is really when it's going to be kind of dynamite. Like, basically like probably August 28th through, September 15th or somewhere in there is going to be crazy.
The sooner you book, the better date you're going to get.
Exactly.
That's a fact.
And tell them that you want September 10th. That's the day you want. September 10th, guys. That's going to be an absolute just smash fest. So anyway, guys, appreciate you listening. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the podcast. Thank you so much for following our content. And when I say that we truly do love our fans, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Nothing that we do with Addicted would be possible without all you guys that follow us and continue to listen. So thank you so much. Until next time, we'll see you on the river.
Cheers.